It's striking that the ads for cosmetic products in a predominantly black country, Sudan, feature images of people who are anything but black. This is troubling as it reveals a number of things. First, black people in Sudan, especially women, are under the impression that their color is ugly. Second, a shade of white has come to be associated with beauty. Thirdly, the perception of who is beautiful has been commodified and standardized in Sudan. This engineered perception of beauty has girls chasing creams that have the miraculous quality of turning the face into light black that strangely passes for white by Sudanese standards while leaving the rest of the body intact, black. The upshot is laughable as you can imagine. Like their counterparts elsewhere, girls in Sudan have been hoaxed and coaxed into pursuing an ideal of beauty that is simply unattainable. This is especially and painfully true of Sudanese girls, as their skin pigmentation prevents them from ever measuring up to that impossible image of standardized and airbrushed beauty. But this obvious fact does not seem to stop them from making fools of themselves by giving it their best shot. Interestingly, there has been another recent shift in the perception of who is beautiful, and the trend seems to be moving in the direction of darker skin color tanned, but not too dark as black Africans, which is usually achieved through dangerous exposure to the sun, a risk that many girls in Iran and elsewhere are only too willing to take for the right look. Little do they know that their co-victims in Black Sudan are moving in the opposite direction. But unlike them, nothing would make them happier than going all the way white in the face. It's not for American girls and women to get the short shrift. So, in the spirit of fairness, I would like to highlight their specific plight. Being white has deprived them of the opportunity to use all the creams that could have made them whiter. But fortunately, they suffer from real and perceived obesity. So they have their own existential anguish and crisis to deal with. The ongoing battle to lose enough weight to look like a photoshopped fashion model or an actress. Their case is poignantly absurd as they are caught up between their manufactured desire to eat fattening food, fast food, which can only enrich the food industry, and their desire to be beautifully thin, which can only benefit the weight loss industry. As recently as 20 years ago, women in sub-Sahara Africa would go to any length to gain weight, as fat women were seen as prettier than slim ones, a perception that was shared by people in Fiji before TV made its way into their island and started dictating to them Hollywood standards of beauty. According to a study conducted in Fiji, after a certain amount of exposure to pathogen TV programs from the UK and the US, teenagers started viewing their robust bodies as a sign of being ugly. This new perception led to all sorts of eating disorders such as anorexia and bulimia. Corporate dominated TV channels reinforce an image of beauty that does not really exist. As Lexi put it, if you have glanced at a magazine or turned on the TV in the last decade, you've got a good idea of what media's definition of an attractive woman looks like. She's tall, has long flowing hair, is surgically and digitally enhanced, blemish-free, and very thin. In fact, academic research tells it like we see it. Studies show the women we see in media these days are thinner than ever, much thinner than the real world, and very often thin enough to be considered anorexic by World Health standards. And in a world where a constant, and we mean constant, flow of media images far exceeds the number of women we could ever see face to face, this abnormally thin and digitally enhanced feminine ideal has become the norm in our minds, a counterfeit, dangerous, and attainable norm. This raises the question of what makes women all over the world fall for the beauty industry. While a lot of answers have been given to this seemingly simple question, a lot of them mistake appearance for essence. In other words, the dominant view that by nature women love to look attractive is based on what appears to be the case today. This way of looking at the issue does not go beyond the surface and get to the bottom of this confidence eroding obsession with outward and standardized image of beauty that benefits no one but the producers of the image, who happen to be, guess what, primarily men. It's true that the existing societies judge women by their appearance, and women can easily be persuaded to go with the flow. This gets us nowhere as it doesn't deal with the fact that some women don't care much about their appearance. That women are easy prey to the vultures of the beauty industry is indicative of something more sinister. Having lived in a man dominated universal mess called the world, women have been denied the right to realize their full human potential, which has left them feeling empty. Lacking meaningful activities, meaningful interaction, and a sense of purpose, women have resorted to appearance and consumerism in general to fill the void. The point is that when someone feels fulfilled as a result of leading a meaningful life, they will be less likely to look for outward means to compensate for a lack of fulfilling life. This goes for both men and women, but since men have been in charge of what really matters in life, such as economic, political, and cultural activities, they don't feel as empty as women do. However, recently boys have been easy targets for the advertisers of outward beauty, but this is driven by the same reason, a sense of emptiness. We have a system, capitalism, that makes a mockery of everything that is meaningful for the sake of profit. In this connection, it's worth considering how much profit the beauty industry rakes in every year. $100 billion. Not bad for an industry that thrives on making women feel ugly.